Way out there in deep space, filling our night sky, are galaxies, billions of them. They are giant collections of stars and dust. And we've observed galaxies of all different shapes and sizes. In this video, I'm on a mission using my own camera and telescope to photograph two similar, but at the same time very different galaxies. At the end of the video, I'll reveal my final images of these galaxies and pick which one I like the best. In this video, I'll be photographing two different galaxies, both spiral galaxies that are similar in shape and structure, but appear totally different. And that's because our view of other galaxies completely depends on our perspective of them. Spiral galaxies are disc-shaped, so let's pretend for a moment that this frisbee is a spiral galaxy flying through space. Except, galaxies are so big and so distant that the motion you're seeing here takes hundreds of millions, if not billions of years. During any human lifespan, galaxies appear to be frozen in place. If we see a galaxy like this from the side, it's called an edge-on galaxy. And if a galaxy looks flat like this, then it's called a face-on galaxy. And of course, we observe galaxies at all other angles in between. In addition to the motion of these galaxies, our view of them also depends on our position here in the Milky Way. Take the edge-on galaxy we just looked at, for example. If instead I put the camera on the ground facing up, then it would appear face-on. My view of the galaxies I'll be photographing in this video might be totally different than what you would see from Bode's galaxy, for example, 12 million light years away. And that's something I think is really interesting. How we see other galaxies is unique to the present moment and to our position here in the Milky Way. It would be great if I could photograph the same spiral galaxy from different angles, but I don't have the ability to travel to another galaxy to do that, nor do I have millions of years to wait for these galaxies to change position. So I'll be doing the next best thing. I'll be photographing two spiral galaxies that are similar in shape and structure, but they will appear totally different, because one is viewed as edge-on, and the other is viewed as face-on from here in the Milky Way. And I'll tell you a bit more about these galaxies when it gets dark and it's time to image them. To photograph these galaxies, I'm using a setup you might have seen in some of my other videos. On top of my Star Adventurer GTI mount is the Red Cat 51, a super sharp but small refractor telescope, along with my deep sky astronomy camera. The challenge here is that this telescope is quite small, and these galaxies are very far away. In fact, a lot of people will tell you, especially online, that it's not even worth it to go after galaxies this distant with a telescope as zoomed out as mine. However, I'm not going to let that stop me. I really do think that if I get several hours worth of good exposures on both of these galaxies, then I can create some nice, clean, and sharp images in the end. With some clear skies, it's time to start photographing these galaxies. First, we're going roughly 20 million light years into space, to the face-on galaxy, the Pinwheel galaxy. It's close to the Big Dipper in the night sky. Here's just a single 2-minute exposure of the Pinwheel galaxy from my telescope. With the data looking good, I photographed the Pinwheel galaxy for almost 4 hours over 2 different nights. A few days later, clear skies have returned, and it's time to photograph the edge-on galaxy. This time, we're going roughly 40 million light years away to the Needle galaxy. Here's a single 2-minute exposure. I had my doubts as to whether my small telescope would reveal enough detail in this thin galaxy. But when I saw this first exposure come in, I was impressed. Now it's just a matter of capturing as many 2-minute exposures as I can. Just like I did with the Pinwheel galaxy, I photographed the Needle galaxy for 2 nights. It is past midnight now, and I've spent all week imaging these galaxies over 4 different nights. The weather has been good, my mount, telescope, and camera have performed flawlessly, and the exposures I've taken look really good. There's not much more you can ask for than that. Now it's time to pack everything up, and I'll combine all of this data into my final images. First, let's take a look at my final image of the Pinwheel Galaxy. I really like this face-on view, because it gives you a good sense of what's going on in the spiral arms of the galaxy. It really is a striking view, and you can definitely see why this galaxy is such a popular target for astrophotographers. And I am really happy with how much detail my small telescope was able to reveal in this galaxy. Now it's time to look at my final image of the Edge-on galaxy, the Needle Galaxy. I think this really is a fascinating perspective. You're looking at the dust in the spiral arms of the galaxy from the side, creating this long, thin, and dark shape. The Needle Galaxy really is a tough target for my RedCat 51 telescope, but just like with the Pinwheel, I really am pleased with how much detail I was able to pull out. Now let's take a look at both of these images side by side. I'm really happy with how both of these turned out, but if I had to pick one as my favorite, it would be the Needle Galaxy, the Edge-on galaxy. I think it's really such an interesting perspective, especially when you look at the center of the galaxy. You can see what looks a bit like a mountaintop in the middle. That's the core of the galaxy, and all spiral galaxies have this bulge at the center. That's where the stars are the most densely packed together. And when you're looking at it from the side, you really can see the shape and structure of the galaxy's core. With the face-on Pinwheel Galaxy, you can see the bright color of the galaxy's core. But it's only from the edge-on perspective that we really see what's going on here. Even though the Needle Galaxy is my favorite, I'm really pleased with both of these pictures. With the Pinwheel, you get a really good view of the spiral arms, and in the Needle Galaxy, you get a really cool 3D view of the core. And I think when you put both of these pictures together, it gives you a better understanding and a more complete picture of what's going on inside a spiral galaxy. And I found that when I really take the time to better understand the object I'm photographing, it makes this hobby that much more worthwhile for me. And I hope you found these different perspectives on spiral galaxies as interesting as I did. Which galaxy photo did you like the best? Was it the face-on Pinwheel Galaxy or the edge-on Needle Galaxy? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, clear skies.